Minecraft is a funny old game because I discovered a bug while making a video about bugs. Check this out. Look at the size of the cobwebs. They're absolutely huge. Anyway, this is just a visual issue if you're in first person in the brand new update. But welcome back, everyone. My name is Echo, and a brand new update has finally released for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. This is the version 1.21.20, releasing right now on Minecraft on iOS, Android, Windows, Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. This is all the 1.21.10 and 20 features. Everyone watching this video, there is only 15 days left to get your hands on the limited edition Echo plush. Once those days are gone, it's never coming back. So if you want to get one, the link is down below. It does ship worldwide. After 14 years of doing YouTube, once the days have ticked, I'm never doing this again. So get it while you can. We are about to go through every single change that has been introduced in this update. Like I said, this is the combination of two updates in one. There are so many changes, bug fixes, parity introductions, and so much more. There'll be a bunch of timestamps, but let's get 5,000 likes on this video. Let's get into this update's fixes and changes, starting with performance and stability. Fixed a number of bugs related to downloading content getting stuck, including errors related to downloads all stuck at 0%, and broken content updates. We have a bug report. With the increase of the community downloading add-on content, this issue seems to be reoccurring. Marketplace downloads get stuck at 0%. And you'll see down here, this is what it was looking like. Now, a quick reminder for anyone that gets this issue, head into your settings and scroll down to storage. They did introduce this, which should fix this issue. Being honest with you, this button should actually be located in the marketplace itself. They also fixed item and block corruption when converting worlds from Legacy Console Edition. Fixed an issue on Amazon devices where games would occasionally crash when joining a world. General changes. Fixed an issue so that marketplace content is properly imported before creating or starting a world. Legacy worlds no longer have chunks at the edge of the world. Gameplay fixes fixed a bug that caused the environment within a chunk to noticeably change when thousands of blocks away from spawn. We have a bug report. Apparently, this issue goes back to 1.20.51 and 62, and there was actually a Reddit post about this. So this person right here was incredibly confused as to why their terrain started to change when they were thousands of blocks away. That shouldn't happen anymore. The sound emitted when a player walks on a heavy core block is now controlled by the appropriate slider in the audio preferences. So some people consider this to be too loud. I think the audio slider you have to change here might well be the player one. So if we turn this off, you'll see here no sound happens at all. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because if we bring this all the way up here, change our blocks to 0, it still makes the sound. Trial chambers now generate far less frequently in the deep dark biome. Now, most of you probably have a pre-existing world and went and done a bunch of exploring. So this is more than likely one of those useful changes if you make a brand new world. Jumping no longer overrides any previous greater upward velocity and therefore doesn't cancel momentum from a wind burst explosion when both happen at the same time. Loot ejected from vaults in the trial chambers are now dependent on level, position, and player seed. So does that mean it's fixed RNG? And if you type in the same seed, it's always going to be the same items? Anyway, players will no longer receive damage when in the world load or dimension transfer loading screen. We have a bug report. This is a step in the right direction for hardcore mode. This was reported back in 2019 and has spanned across all of these versions. And we have a video here. I think we've all experienced this. Like if you leave the world and then go back in, you're now taking damage from mobs before you can even save yourself. Now, this is also going to be the same if you went inside the Nether or inside the end. So you can see there they took damage. That is not going to happen anymore. Players no longer momentarily go into a crawl for a single tick when moving towards a bed with a 1.5 unit gap above it. We have a bug report. So this one is to do with the player planking on the bed. So if we watch this, you kind of go into like a Superman fly mode and plank onto the bed. That doesn't happen anymore. And I kind of tried to test this, but like it's not possible to get under there for it to work. I tried to jump and get into the bed and stuff. But yeah, it's not going to happen anymore. Even if I do /time sets and we did midnight, we try and go into bed here, it's not going to happen anymore. So finally fixed. A pretty good change is area effect clouds no longer shrink when entered by entities immune to the effect. So if we was to have poison cloud, for example, and throw this, and a husk walked or stood inside of this, they are immune to this, so it's not being consumed. Meanwhile, if I throw this and I stand in this, the poison has now been transferred to me. And if we just stand here, it's just going to start to shrink over time. So you can see that's much smaller than that one. So yeah, these guys or anything else in general won't actually consume the cloud. Changes with mobs, starting with the bogged. The bogged underwater melee attack no longer applies a slowness effect to the victim. We have a bug report. This was a problem in all of the 1.21 previews and betas, and basically if the bogged was to punch you, you would still get hit with the slowness effect. It's meant to be slowness arrows. So if we get in water and summon one of these and we get meleeed by this, you can see here I'm not taking any form of slowness effect. The bogged no longer levitates when riding a boat, raft, or minecart. We have a bug report. Apparently, the bogged was on its way to Hogwarts and was floating inside of any kind of minecart, raft, or boat. So let's just double check this, place down the bogged, put him in a boat, and he's no longer floating. Parrots now correctly imitate the bogged when nearby. Witches now always drop 4 to 8 redstone dust upon death. This is a Java parity, and according to the developers, this is to improve the viability of farms that utilize witch huts to obtain redstone. So if we pick this up here, we were given 6 on this occasion. Let's just do one more and see what we get. So we can get up to 8 here. This time we managed to get ourselves 6 again. Fixed mobs animation not playing when mobs were unloaded in split screen. Fixed a bug where the breeze could get stuck in one place when beneath a roof of blocks while attacking. Entities that failed to load due to missing content will now be preserved inside the level. These entities will reappear when the missing content becomes available, i.e. removing and reapplying an add-on. That's actually a really, really good change. So basically, entities kind of go invisible and then can kind of reappear when add-ons are re-added. Pretty good change. Drowned now spawn individually in rivers instead of in groups of 2. Drowned now spawn in aquifers in dripstone caves. And I've seen this, and they do have tridents, and they are incredibly powerful. Wolves, bears, and pandas will now panic and try to avoid danger when damaged by environmental sources, e.g. fire, lava, and freezing. So I want to show you this because when I tested this in beta and preview, they didn't really panic and they didn't really care. So let's just see what happens here. Let's start with a wolf, for example. If we were to move the wolf, see, they haven't fixed this properly. They're meant to like kind of panic, but they generally don't. Okay, maybe the polar bear did, but the other two did not. They said it's fixed, but okay, there he kind of did a little bit. Maybe because it was because of the sheep, though. What about you here? A little bit, but if they're inside of there, they don't kind of make their way out. should we say. Another Java parity, pufferfish now gives nausea 1 effect instead of nausea 2 when consumed. So if we were to grab this and consume this and then check our effects, it's just nausea, not nausea 2. Zoglins now play angry sounds when chasing the player or mobs. Bees now start taking drowning damage after 1 second when underwater. So if you like your bees, make sure you keep them safe and you're not going to drown them because they will begin to die very quickly. Mounts and vehicles are no longer given a slight velocity during a dismount. If you've ever been on ice and then your boat just keeps going, basically that's not going to happen anymore. Should stop the rubber banding issues. Blocks fixed a bug that caused the crafter to be audible from more than 5 blocks distance. So if you were hearing these over a longer period, like at past 5 blocks, that's not gonna happen anymore. They also fixed some trial spawner textures inconsistencies. Slabs and stairs should no longer randomly start placing on the bottom when continuously building. We have a bug report. Once again, a long time bug that goes back to 2019. This is an issue that comes back and goes away and comes back. So when you're placing this, it would just change the direction. That's been fixed. So if we grab this, start placing these here, you'll notice that things are fine. Let's try this in like a creative style. Hold on. Let's try this a little bit faster here. They kind of drop sometimes, but it's definitely a lot more consistent. Particles generated when breaking leaves now match the color of the destroyed leaves. So they were all oak last time. Now oak is oak. Spruce will be spruce. And cherry will be cherry. Mirrored the backside of Skull, Guster, and Flow banner textures. We have a bug report. Again, people reported this before 1.21 was complete. The developers just didn't introduce it. You can see here that this and this should not be the same. They should be inverted. Same here and same here. It was finally fixed today. So I've got all of these and I can show you if we place this down and then place this here, you'll be able to see that they are inverted. It's going to be the same for all of these now. Fixed an issue with the quartz slab texture, and that is because both of underneath of these was actually the same, when basically the quartz slab should actually have this outline here and the smooth version shouldn't. So they fixed it to distinguish the differences. Restored the backside texture of the sunflower to be leafy green. Doors of different materials will now be able to form double doors. So let me show you this real quick. So basically, if you try and add these together before this update, these would basically look like this. Now, if you have an oak door and a jungle door, any kind of door, they will open the correct way. Again, I think this is a Java parity. The heavy core block is now properly scaled in the inventory. We've all had this because the heavy core was tiny in your inventory. It was basically like a conduit size. It was much smaller. I think it was smaller than this, honestly. But yeah, now it's been scaled inside of the inventory. The heavy core block is now positioned correctly in item frames. Basically, because this was really tiny, you could actually spin this all the way around. Finally updated. The bell block no longer rings twice when hit with a wind charge projectile. So if we grab ourselves a wind charge, grab ourselves a bell, whenever you do ding this now, it's only going to happen once, rather than multiple times. The scaffolding block no longer flickers when moving at a far distance. We have a bug report. Reported back in 2021, spanned across all of these versions. We do have a video here. When this person flies away, you'll notice that these start to flicker. And if we just replicate this, you'll see here, the further I go, it is now completely fine. Copper doors now follow the intended design of only dropping when mined with a stone pickaxe or better. Doors no longer drop when top block is mined in creative mode. Crafting with oxidized cut copper in the stone cutter now yields 2 slabs instead of 1. So if we put this inside of here, you will now be given 2 on return. And then there's another one here. Crafting quartz bricks from blocks of quartz now yields 4 quartz bricks instead of 1. I want to grab these real quick. So if I do this here, we get 4. But if I go ahead and put one of these inside of here and we tap on this, you only get one in return. Okay. Well, again, I guess if you're putting all of these inside of here, you are technically getting 4. But I thought the stonecutter was meant to give you more bang for your buck. A few changes with mushrooms and mushroom stems. Naturally spawned mushroom stems no longer drop mushrooms when mined. So if you mine this now, you won't get any mushrooms. And this has now been changed. It says the chance of dropping mushrooms, max of 2 from brown, and red mushroom blocks was increased to match Java from 10% per mushroom to 11.11. So you should be able to get a couple more from these if you're lucky. In this occasion, we managed to get 2. Again, it's not crazy, but your chances have now been increased. A damaged anvil block may now spawn in Trail Ruins, as it would in Java Edition. So you can find these inside of these, considering it is an ancient structure. Your trapped doors and fences no longer push players or mobs when activated by redstone. Now, this was mainly an issue with this. If you were standing in this and activated some form of redstone, you or the mob would actually be pushed out. Fixed double plant blocks breaking in worlds of older versions. We have a bug report. So with this bug, if we look at this picture here, you can actually see the plants. But if we go over to there, you can see they've all dropped on the floor. I've actually experienced this before, but it should no longer happen anymore. Moving on to the wind charge changes. There's a lot of them, so I put them inside of a book. The first one is the wind charge projectile can now be summoned via the /summon command, which is why you can see this on the floor right here. I won't go over all of these. Feel free to refer to the official changelog, but other good changes are wind charges thrown by players no longer have a chance of dealing more damage than 1 per hit. Also, increased player fire rate wind charge speed by 50%, bringing it into parity with Java Edition. So this should make MLG saving with wind charge so much better. Mounted entities are no longer immune to wind charge projectile damage. So if I was to grab this, for example, and fire it at these guys, they're no longer immune. This will also apply to things like the breeze. And if we go to here, it also says crouching no longer affects wind charge /knockback jump amount. So if you were to stand here and crouch or stand here, you still go the exact amount of, the same amount of height, should we say. And this crouching one is also linked to this one. Wind charges used by the player aimed straight down now knock the player upward 6 blocks instead of 2.5. The launch position of the wind charge has been slightly adjusted, so it no longer fires too far from the player. So yeah, these changes are just quality of life. Moving on to the item changes. Breeze rods now render correctly in third-person view. We have a bug report. A bug I remember being reported at the start. If we do a comparison, there is your blaze and there was your breeze. They are now on parity. And I can show you this by grabbing both of these. Looking in this position, they are the exact same. The mace can no longer break cobwebs and bamboo as fast as swords and other sharp items. So you know how easy it is to break with a sword. Apparently, before this update, you could also do the same with this. So now they are once again no longer as strong. The fishing rod hook no longer sticks to actors that have the projectile reflection component. I think this is related to the breeze. The mace's smash attack no longer knocks back mobs that have been tamed by the player wielding the mace. We have a bug report. This is under a vanilla parity, and we do have a video here on Pocket Edition, Bedrock Edition. If you kill a, let's say, a creeper, your mob that you've tamed would also get knocked back. Although in my head, it does make sense. That won't happen anymore. So I'm just going to grab myself this. We are going to Hulk smash the creeper, and you can see my wolves didn't move. Another change, attacking an entity with a mace enchanted with wind burst enchantment no longer negates full damage. We have a bug report. So there was a way to cheat death in the latest versions of Minecraft. As this person kills an iron golem and then they land, they don't take any damage. So they should take damage from this, but they didn't. I mean, to be fair, they did land on snow, so in my head, again, it makes sense. But if you hit this, and then we do it again, and then we land, we should die. That makes sense, right? I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Leads now attached to the front of boats instead of the center. So basically, they've done this change because they introduced the leash boats to Java Edition, and this is how it worked on Java. But surely, if it's attached at the front, this part of the boat should be down on the bottom. With it being in the middle, it kind of made sense for them to be like this. So a lot of players actually don't like this. Also fixed flickering item icon when quick moving a stack to a non-empty stacks. Locator maps will now only render heads and head attachments. Added rarity coloring in the tooltips of Creeper Charge, School Charge, Thing, Snout, Flow, and Guster banner patterns. Now, the whole rarity thing will make a lot more sense in 1.20.30 where they've expanded it. But you'll see here, the colors are different depending on the rarity and how hard they are to get. And this has also been done to the Trident Mace Heavy Core, which have been changed to the epic color magenta. So because these are rare and hard to get items, this is the color to symbolize this. It doesn't have any form of effect at all. It's just a visual thing, but they're literally doing this with all items. In the next update, it's the same for, I believe, specific enchantments and other things like that, like apples and stuff. Banners are once again obtainable via the recipe book. Fixed wolf armor breaking, not emitting enough scoop particles. This is a parity. Fixed torch item icon being temporarily misplaced when transferring it between the inventory and the hotbar when quick moved. We have a bug report. Once again, just a visual issue with Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Just keep an eye on these when they're transferred into the barrel. They kind of just go in a different location. So they go in the middle and then drop down. So that doesn't happen anymore. And I can show you this because you'll see here, it just instantly stays right at the bottom. Fixed an issue where structure icons or other map decorations were not visible at map edges on maps with unlimited tracking, such as Trial Explorer maps. We have a bug report. A lot of you had this issue on the release of 1.21 in pre-existing worlds, where you got yourself a Trial Chambers map, but it didn't actually locate where it was. So you couldn't actually find it. Now, if you had one of these maps, update your game and let me know in the comment section if it's been fixed. Music/sound changes. Once again, we have a bunch of these. So it's inside of a book. Echo in the Wind now plays in the Lush Caves biome. 5 other side, Relic, Creator Music Box, Precipice are now assigned to Jukebox/Note Block Slider, which is in the audio. The rooted dirt blocks now have unique sounds to better match Java Edition. Copper Doors Open sound is now pitched differently. Copper Grate step sounds now play at a lower volume. Again, a bunch of sound changes. If you're interested in these, please go and read the official changelog. Now, this update has a lot of realms changes. Let's read the changelog. I don't currently have a realm, but they did update the realms invite links. It says we are making some changes to how realms invite links work. It says you can now create up to 5 links per realm, so you could send them to multiple people. Invite links can be enabled or disabled at will, which I like this. So nobody's going to be able to share a link and then sneak into your server/realm. Invite links can be deleted entirely. Newly created invite link codes will be 15 characters long, increased from 11. So no one is definitely guessing these. All new realms will not have an invite link created for them by default. So this is something that you have to turn on, just a little bit more security. Existing links that have not been used will be deleted. So again, realms have had a huge update along with a bunch of bug fixes. One of the main issues with realms is that Realism Craft wasn't working in realms. This was fixed the other day, by the way, but yeah, they have confirmed it's now working correctly in realms, along with a bunch of other fixes. If you're interested in realms, pause the video and check it out for yourself. Accessibility fixed an issue where Apple Pencil was not recognized as a valid input method. Fixed an issue where screen narration would not describe how to accept a game invitation on Android and iOS. Text-to-speech now reads how to play screen by hovering over, tapping on, or navigating to the respective headers and paragraphs. Custom controls. Let's read that changelog. So these changes are quality of life ones. I'm not currently on my touch device, so I can't actually show you these. But they did fix things such as customized controls no longer reverts after player stops flight. User interface changes and fixes. Added animated title to the loading tips dialog. Refreshed assets for achievement screen. All achievements unlocked. Illustration. No achievement unlocked, illustration, and gamerscore icon. Fixed a bug that caused half absorption hearts not to be rendered. The water breathing effect icon and timer no longer flickers while wearing the turtle helmet. Updated the hide paper doll toggle to default to false on Chromebooks. When regeneration effect is active, hearts on the hood no longer move too fast. We have a bug report. It's a bug that has come back, but when we play this, you'll notice that the hearts don't actually go in order here. So if we play this real quick as this person drinks the regeneration potion, the hearts are going too fast and just doing crazy things on their own. That shouldn't happen. If we replicate this, keep an eye on my hearts. They kind of go in like a clean snake fashion. Shift clicking inventory items no longer causes item stack count to briefly appear above the stack. Interacting with a block outside of a player's reach no longer causes the block interface to appear briefly. Items no longer render in front of stack size number when being quick moved. So the issue here is that the 64 would appear behind the block. If you've been doing this before, you might have seen it. And you can see here the number is always in front of the block. Very similar to that last bug, number on a stack of items no longer overlaps with item hover text in Villager's trade menu. Items no longer move slightly in slots after being quick moved to the anvil. So a lot of quick move action changes within this update. We have items no longer stay selected on touch devices when switching between creative inventory tabs. Items can now be removed from the offhand slot and crafting grids by tapping on other items in creative inventory on mobile devices. Fix the help button link in the structure blocks menu. The chat quick access history no longer stores duplicated chat entries. Fixed an issue where content of the previously used text field was carried over to signs on Xbox. We have a bug report. I remember checking out this bug in beta and preview, but watch this. It says finish map floor. Tap on this and you'll notice that it says building materials. Updated the dressing room category names for headwear, outerwear, and footwear. Now, there's also a couple more changes in the UI. These are mostly safe zone changes, but then we did get some other changes inside of here as well. Just didn't think we needed to put them all on signs. Technical updates. Let's read the changelog. I didn't put this on signs, but we do have game tips available in Minecraft Bedrock Edition now. Basically, this is applied to new players, giving you small tips on how to play the game and how to progress. Moving into technical updates, there has been a tremendous amount of changes for add-ons and scripts. So if you are a marketplace partner, an add-on creator, this stuff is definitely worth reading. There is so many changes. Anyway, guys, if you made it this far in today's video, let me know in the comment section by saying, hey, Echo, that is a really beautiful horse. It takes a long time to make these videos just to explain to you guys what has changed. So if you do enjoy this kind of content, please be sure to hit that like button. Have a wonderful day. And hopefully bundles will be tomorrow.